Yes, peace and greetings, everybody. Welcome to the Network of Awareness, where we pursue knowledge to expose toxic conditioning, propaganda, and global lies, inspiring critical thinking for a meaningful reality rooted in universal truths and empowering awareness. And I'm your brother from the same creation, or the informationalist. And today we're going to talk about how the light is not something we create. It's something we allow to shine through us. That's what we're going to talk about today. And as always, this is the channel that's the original Unity Consciousness collaboration channel. And this is also a place where we can agree to disagree and move on amicably. And we don't debate the truth here because the truth is absolute. It does all well by itself. It don't need no help. And as always, here at the Network of Awareness, if you have a certain color of consciousness, then you came to the right place, because this is where the pursuit for knowledge meets authentic conversations. Let's go. Yes, Grand Rising. Let's go. Supreme Grand Rising, everybody. Happy Most High Monday. So, to everybody listening, welcome to today's very special broadcast here on the Network of Awareness. And I'm inviting y'all to join me on another journey to go inward towards that place where the words often fall short, but where the understanding and overstanding come naturally as we take each breath in, each breath we take. And we're going to explore the truth that transcends time, the truth that echoes through the teachings from the sages, the poets, the mystics, the shamans, the critical thinkers, even the philosophers for millennia. It's the truth that touches each of us, regardless of where we come from, regardless of what we believe and how we live our lives. And that truth is that the light we seek, the light of love, of wisdom, of peace, is not something we create, but rather something we should be, because that's what we already are. It's something that we allow to shine through us with grace, humility, and with a deep sense of surrender. That's what we're going to get up in here today on the Network of Awareness. And that's a beat that I have the copyright rights to, that I own, from Domini, the producer, and I'm definitely going to write something. This is the Game Face beat. It's fire beat. Love that beat right there. Welcome, everybody. So I want to start off by saying that we live in a world that often emphasizes creation as building, achieving, and manifesting. And you always hear the term that we are creators, and we are, right? Even the app lets you know that. Even the app that we're on lets you know that we're creators. But even though we create our own reality and we carve out our own path and we bring light into the world through our efforts and the things that we do, I want to also discuss and consider a little bit of a different perspective when it comes to light and how light shines through us, and light actually being created, but instead how it is a co-creation of something that's already there. Because I used to believe that I was creating something out of nothing. I used to always say that I could create something out of nothing. I make things happen. But then I came to the realization on the journey of self-discovery that I'm not really creating anything. All I'm doing is bringing out from creation that's already there, and having this co-creation relationship to bring something to fruition that really does exist, but I bring awareness to it within my reality. So that's the co-creation process. But the actual creation itself, it's already there. It's always there. It's always present. It exists within the entire cosmos, which we talked about last time, where God is consciousness. Source is consciousness. The divine is and always will be, and it's ever present. And that's the perspective I want to look at today, is how to consider perspective that what first seems to be a little bit paradoxical, in truth, it's really deeply liberating when you realize that the light is not something that we create. It's something that we allow to be. We allow it to take its course. We allow to, if we allow it, that's another thing we're going to talk about. That's where that whole, in my perspective, the concept of get out your own way comes in. Because I look at it as when we get in our own way, we're getting in the way of the light. It's just, how can I explain it metaphorically? It's when they have the projector on and they're showing a movie, and then the person walks in front of the projector and now you can't see the movie and you're blocking the light from it being exposed to the wall. That's what we do a lot in life. We get in our own way and we block our light that should be shining on through, and we block it. Instead of letting it liberate us, letting it surrendering to it and allowing it to be and do what it's meant to do within you. And you know, the word allow, hey, shalom, peace, love, and light, Ursula. I wasn't even looking at whoever's come in. Peace to you, everybody that's coming into the live. Appreciate y'all. I'm playing algorithm with TikTok, algorithm chess. Normally I have 80 to 100 people by now. But I don't know what's been happening with the way they've been doing me. I don't know if it's the 6-month layoff that I took off and I don't know. But we're going to make it happen. If y'all can share this, I greatly appreciate it. So this word allow is a word that suggests openness. It also suggests receptivity and surrender to it. It's a very powerful word when applied with the highest positive intentions, because it's a word that invites us to really step back from that constant striving attitude and embrace a more profound truth within us. Is that light that we're seeking already is present. It's already whole. It's already there shining. So our task is not to create that light, but rather allow it to shine through us. That quote that I came up with a long time ago that just came to me as a download or whatever you want to call it, it just came to me as a realization, is that we don't have to look. Whenever we're looking for the light at the end of the tunnel, we do ourselves a disservice because we're looking for something that is already within us. See, this is where a lot of people are coming to the awareness about when it comes to religion, is that a lot of religion has brainwashed and indoctrinated people through man's manipulation on making you seek something divine like God or an angel, whatever it is, always seeking, or even Christianity wants you to seek Christ as something outside of you, something that you have to wait for to achieve, or something that is not a part of you and you have to ask for permission to help you. And it's no different than when we're when we're looking at for the light at the end of the tunnel when it's already in you. And that's when, if you could come to that awareness, then you realize that you are the light and you light up the tunnel, the darkness in the tunnel. You cast away the shadows in that tunnel, not the other way around. And I also think about the sun, because the sun is probably one of the most greatest celestial bodies to our human experience here on this realm called Earth. And that celestial body brings life and warmth to our planet. And you have to think about it. When the sun rises in the east, does it have to strain itself to do? No. It just operates naturally and it shines. Even when it's cloudy, even when the clouds are blocking, the sun rays are still coming through the clouds. We're just not getting it as potent, but it's still there. The light is still there. The sun just simply is. It radiates its light effortlessly. The light shines on without no discrimination and without no condition. This is why it's so important. And this is a realization that I'm coming to now more than ever, now that ever since I got into my early 40s and now in my later 40s, even becoming more significant in understanding unconditional love in this regard, is that just like when the sun shines without no discrimination and without no condition, When we allow the light to shine through us, we allowing ourselves to be the full, whole expression of unconditional love. And I just want people to process that for a second. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. And in the meantime, let me play my intermission interval. Creative said, love without any expectation. The reflection of light, Yeshua says, goes so far that it creates itself as planets furthest from itself. Woo! We going in early in this early Supreme Grand Rising. We are the truth upon which the earth has dreamed into existence. Facts. But something to think about, right? The sun shines effortlessly. Why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we allow the light to shine through us effortlessly? And what does that mean? And what are these barriers that obscure it? These are some of the things we're getting into on this podcast radio show today, on this Star Seed Awakening series. And we're going to get into star seeds too, because a lot of times I was listening to a brief excerpt from a news station, and I forgot which one it was. But they were talking about this guy who authored this book and does this research. And he was talking about how grays, and I've heard Bashar talk about this too. And we're starting to get more of under awareness about this, because we have to realize that these starseed beings that are called aliens, they're all just expressions of yourselves in other dimensions. They are our brothers and sisters from the same creation. Keep that in mind. But there's now a lot of this information coming out that grays are no more than just us in the future. And the theory is this, which I find interesting. And I'm going off on a little tangent, but it's going to all come together, is that these so-called grays, the reason why their eyes are like that, as you can see here, their eyes are so big and black, is because, and this is just a theory, right? But when you look at it, it makes a lot of sense when you think about this universe, and just this planet alone is just one dimension of existence. But the theory is that in the future, and I don't know how far into the future, and it's like the Terminator / Matrix series, is that in the future, because of nuclear weaponry, that when these nuclear blasts or whatever are launched, or weapons are used, that it's going to affect the atmosphere so much that it's going to block out the sun. And we're not going to get sunlight anymore. It's going to be a whole different experience. And they're saying that these are versions of ourselves in the future of how we evolved to fit the conditions, the physical conditions of the atmosphere and of our existence here on this planet with no sunlight. And that's why our eyes get like that. They say why our noses get smaller. So these are all theories. And I found it to be interesting. But one thing I do know, that I know from my study and experiences, and I've been taught this as well as experience and gain this awareness, is that all of these beings are expressions of us, simply because even back in the days when a lot of splicing was going on, which splicing is still going on today, but it's more of a malevolent intention behind it when it comes to our governments. But when the splicing was going on in the early days with our brothers and sisters that were mixing genes together to create certain types of beings, even us, we carry that essence within us. That's why those 22 grams of ethereal light that leaves our body has that genetic coding in it. That also goes into our spine and all throughout our body. So we're all connected to this. But going back to this awareness of allowing the light to shine through us, I find it interesting because when we do, and we don't have any of these barriers blocking us, we have the most meaningful experiences. Because when we understand that the nature of light itself is not something external, but rather is something that's in you. It's not something that we have to acquire. It's not something that we have to achieve. And a lot of that gets lost in translation when you have a lot of personal development education out there, life coaching and all that, teaching manifestation as something that needs to be achieved in order for it to come into fruition, not realizing that it's always just there. You just have to allow it to be and tap into it. It's that spark of the divine that resonates in everything that also resides within each and every one of us. It's that thing that connects us all. And it's that thing that makes us individual universes connected into what I like to consider, and this is just my opinion, a multiverse. That we are universes together making up multiverses. Something we talk about a lot on here is that this light is really just love. It's pure and it's unconditional. It is a wisdom that actually transcends intellect. It's also one of my favorites, which is peace, meaning positive energy always corrects error, but it's that peace that passes all understanding. And it's that joy that arises not from any type of an external circumstance, but really from the depth of each and every one of us in the core of our being. It's what we are. Actually, that's the only thing that matters and that's actually true. Everything else outside of that light that's in us, that's all around us, is all just an illusion for an experience, for that light to experience. And it's that light that is the grace that is not earned. We didn't earn that light. We just inherited it. And we have that uninherited gift given by the creation of all, of source, or whatever label you want to give it, which really doesn't require one. But it's that gift, that unmerited gift that we've been given, that we are, that flows through us when we open ourselves up to it and allow it to be and to flow and to shine and to guide. Because what's one of our slogans here? Conscience is our guide, peace is our shelter, beauty and perfection is our way of life. When we allow the light to shine through us and be that light and allow that light, beauty and perfection is our way of life. There is no other way. Now, despite the fact that the ever-present nature of this light, what's the problem is that most of us feel very disconnected from it. We disconnect ourselves. And it's not just religion that perpetuates that attitude, that behavior, endorses it, but there's other things. Fear. Fear disconnects us from it. Fear makes us think that's something that doesn't exist within us. That's when we start to think that we're darkness. And a lot of that comes from being in a world that's constantly filled with distractions, lights, camera, distractions, a lot of noise, and a lot of constant activity that keeps you distracted from yourself. So it's real easy to forget who you truly are. And that's when we start to identify the roles that we play and the mask that we wear on these skin school suits as our life, and that there is nothing else. I'm this, I'm that, and that's it. And then we just start building walls and blocking that light from shining through us. Because we start thinking that the mask we wear, the job we have, is our true reality. And then we become that, and we think that's what we are. We think that we're a social construct that's been created and put out there for us to believe that we are that. And the moment we do that, we block out all opportunity from being one with the divine nature and the divine light that we are, and allowing that to shine. That's when we walk in front of that projector, like I was just talking about, where we walk in front of the projector and now the light's being blocked. And most of the time, and I know throughout my life, these walls are made out of fear and more fear. And the fear is the fear of feeling of not being enough, not being worthy. A lot of the fear comes from being judged. And a lot of times we fear being judged when we're seeking validation from others. And then the most important one is, for most of us, if not all of us, is the fear of the unknown. Because most of us have been conditioned to want to know what's going to happen before it happens, instead of allowing things to happen. And I know I've been guilty of that. And speaking of guilt, a lot of this fear is made into guilt and shame, i.e. religion. But also that guilt and shame comes from past hurts and future worries, which is the pain that comes from focusing on your past trauma, and then the pain that you put yourself through for the future worry, which is anxiety, instead of being present and being the light that you've been gifted with in order to be. And these are a lot of the stories we tell ourselves when it comes to be. And these are a lot of the stories we tell ourselves when it comes to, some of us have even gotten so bad that we build these walls so thick and so high that the light within us becomes dimmer until we forget that the light is even there at all. Phoenix 333 said, I've shed 40 years of fear in 1 month. Intense. Wow. Congratulations. That's wonderful. Let's take a moment to reflect on that real quick.
You are now tuned in to the network of awareness, to the network of awareness, to the network of awareness, to the network of awareness.
Got to get that alkaline in. All right. Hey, okay. I see the algorithm starting to pick up. We got 44 souls up in here, 44 leaders of life. Peace, love, and light to everybody coming in. Appreciate y'all. Don't forget to tap the screen, people. Don't be finger lazy today. Let's start this Monday off right. Let's tap that screen, show some love, support, and keep the algorithm getting higher and higher, more visible for the FYP. All right. One thing about fear, to overcome fear, is just by letting the light be. Once you could just make things simple instead of complicating things for yourself, and understanding that the light never truly has gone, it's just your perception of yourself that makes you think that the light is gone. And a lot of us, if we do the right work, make the right moves, we begin to remember. And a lot of times, the way the divine universe of universes works when it comes to consciousness is that even if you are in a state of fear, the light in you is going to find a way to remind you that it's there and that there's nothing to fear at all. And that's when, if we allow that light to flow, we allow ourselves to let go of the fear and of the judgments and of the guilt and the shame. And that's when we start to experience a very profound shift into a new paradigm. That's when the walls that we built start to crumble and the light begins to shine through once more. Matter of fact, it shines brighter now than it ever has before. That's the feeling that you get. But it's always there. That's what you are. That's everything that you are and ever will be. Everything else is just an illusion. Unconditional love is the only truth. Everything else, that's when I remember David Icke doing that presentation on Children of the Matrix. And he said that being came to him when he had drank ayahuasca. And he was like, infinite love is the only truth. Everything else is an illusion. Unconditional love is the only truth. Everything else is an illusion. So when we allow the light to shine through us, it's really allowing that act or being that act of grace, having a character of grace, an essence of grace. It's not something we can force or really manufacture, right? We're not creating something. It's already there. You're just taking the time to co-create and bring awareness to it within your path, within your walk, within your example of how you shine that light. That's when the more we let go of the need to control, the need to be right, and the need to be perfect, the higher the light frequency shines and vibrates. Electromagnetically, you become charged on a higher level. That's what happens when we surrender and we let go of the control. And it also happens when you open up your heart to the present moment and to the beauty of what is. This is why beauty and perfection is our way of life, because you open up your heart to the present moment. You allow the beauty to be what it is rather than what you think it should be. And that's what I consider to be a divine experience, when you can experience life like that throughout every moment of your life and be fully aware of what you're experiencing, and which was my favorite superpower, gratitude, just being grateful for the experience, being grateful for being the grace. And it's that in that space of openness that you become a channel for that light. And then that light flows through you, touching those around you in ways that they may not even be aware of it. And then it radiates out into the world. And it increases and contributes to the collective consciousness. It brings a little bit more warmth where it's cold. It brings a little bit more healing to where there's pain. And to all that come in contact with you and with that light, they feel a little warmer and they feel a little bit better. And if I'm lying, I'm dying. And we know that energy never dies. It only transforms.
You are now tuned in to the network of awareness, to the network of awareness, to the network
We got some new people up in here. Welcome. Thanks for the follows. Now, I'm not saying that actions are not important, right? Or unimportant. What I'm actually saying is when we allow the light to shine through us, our actions become more infused. It gives us a deeper sense of purpose and meaning. That's when you allow the ego to serve its purpose, but you're not driven by the ego's desire or fear, but you're more guided by the light itself. And you allow the ego to give you the courage to push that light on through, allowing that light to be and be confident instead of being in doubt. of who and what you are, and recognizing your self-worth instead of looking for your self-worth from someone else or from some external entity, looking for that validation. Our actions, when we allow the light to follow and pass through us and be us and flow through us, becomes that expression of love, it becomes whole expressions of compassion, kindness, and many other things. The light manifests itself just like the light is just like water. It's going to take shape and form. And it's going to flow. But see, the thing with light is that most of the time it's not really something you can actually see visually. Even though we see light from the sun, but the light within us, some of us have tapped in and seen that light. We see our auric fields shining, but most of the time we don't. Doesn't mean it's not there. The light is shown in so many different ways. It's not through force or effort, but through grace. See, the reason why I love grace is because grace is not limited to some grand gesture. Grace is not limited to some phenomenal, extraordinary act. What it is present, it's something that could be the smallest little thing. It could be that thing that we do every moment of our lives, every day in the little moments of our life. It could be a smile. It could be in the patience that we show to strangers, to loved ones. It could be forgiveness that we extend to ourselves when we're doing shadow work or when we forgive ourselves of any past transgression and when we forgive others. It is in that present that when we listen in the way we speak and in the way we simply be, that's the grace. It's allowing the light to shine through us. You become the instrument of the divine. And I don't know about y'all, but I love being a vessel. I love being a vessel through which this infinite light can flow through, and having a great sense of responsibility and reverence to that light, and appreciating and being grateful that the light that I am, is given an opportunity to have an experience. And in doing so, when we have a divine sense of awareness to our purpose as bringing light into this world and flourishing in that light and growing and evolving and being the best expressions of unconditional love, we fulfill our true purposes. That's when we start to answer our highest calling. And then ultimately understand that we're not here to create light, but to be the light. It's wonderful. It's a great time to be alive. See, now you may wonder, how do we practically live this truth in our existence? How do we do this in our daily lives? How do we allow the light to shine through us with grace? And it's a very simple answer. And the answer is, be present. Be present in every moment. Be open, and then also be willing to surrender. That's the trifecta. Present, open, surrender. Present, open, surrender. Presence is the foundation. Because when you're fully present, you're not lost in the thoughts of the past or the worries about the future. You're just there. You're that which is and always will be. You're in the now. You're in the moment. And the moment, the light is always accessible. The light is going to serve its purpose. So we become more present when we become more attuned with the light that's within us. And the openness of this trifecta is the key to allow the light to shine through you. Got to be open. And you also got to be open to others. This is why many of us are starting to come into the awareness and understanding that vulnerability doesn't make you weak. Vulnerability doesn't come from weakness. Vulnerability comes from strength. That's why openness is the key. That's why for me, if I get into a relationship, any relationship I get into, I'm going to be extremely vulnerable, knowing that I can be hurt by the love that I feel if it's not there, or if I get betrayed or something. But at the end of the day, I got to allow myself to be vulnerable and open myself up in order for the light to be experienced and for me to have the meaningful experience and not be in a state of fear. Because at the end of the day, people, even if we do get betrayed because we allowed ourselves to be vulnerable, it's not us that get hurt. It's the one that betrays that hurts themselves. And I always look at it from this perspective. If somebody does you dirty, it's their loss, not yours. This is why openness is key, because it allows you to have that light shine through you. And then last but not least, surrender, which is the last part of the trifecta, is the path. It's when you're letting go of the need to control, when you're letting go of the need to try to create something that's already there, when you let go of trying to force things, trying to make things happen through force. Instead, you trust in the divine that's within you. You trust that light. It's going to lead you, guide you, and get you to where you need to be, as long as you get out of the way, meaning that you get out of your own way. And most of the time, it's releasing the ego. Now, I want to make this very clear. I'm not talking about releasing the ego. You can't get rid of the ego. It's impossible. It's there. It serves its purpose. But when you can use it properly, meaning that you release the ego's need for recognition, you release the ego's need for achievement, for validation, and you just allow the light to flow through you freely without anything blocking, no obstruction. Just free flowing. No expectations. The sister said earlier in the chat. No expectations. No barriers. And that's the trifecta that I do every day. I get better at practicing it. And then when I fall short of it, I don't beat myself up about it. I just understand it's a process. Because even in the mistakes, there is no mistakes, because it's just something that was done in a way that we can learn from. And sometimes fear creeps in and we got to just overcome it. Matter of fact, let's do a quick little practice here in regards to allowing this trifecta to work. Because when we live in this way, when we're present, open, and surrendered, we find that life takes on a new quality of life. And we start to embrace quality over quantity, because we start to realize that living this way brings us a sense of ease, because it's flowing, it's harmony, it's peaceful. There's no hostility. There's no resistance. We're no longer struggling against the current. We're moving with it. The light guides us and it illuminates the path. And it fills your life with a deep sense of meaning and purpose. So let's take a moment real quick. For those that are listening in, we got about, how many people we got now? We got about 54 up in here. And take a moment, everybody, if you choose to. I want to invite you to take a moment right now, wherever you are, to close your eyes and take a deep breath. And take a deep breath in for a good 5 seconds. And then don't release it. Breathe it in and tune into the light within you while you're breathing in and holding it in. And when you're holding in that breath, see the light. Envision that light that's there in you. and then let it go and allow it to be with the rest of the world. Feel it, sense it, allow it to be. See, there's no need to do anything. There's no need to achieve anything. There's no need to make anything happen. The only thing that has to be is you simply being and allowing the light to shine through you with grace. One of the profound awarenesses that I've come to in my walk is that there's nothing to worry about. It's nothing to worry about. I worry a lot less now than I used to. I used to worry so much about so many things, and all the time. And if it wasn't for the ganja, for the Mary Jane, I probably would have had even more anxiety. That actually helped. That allowed me to just be in tune with the present and be more in tune with it would heighten my senses. But as I've gotten older and I've done the shadow work and I practice, I've realized that there's nothing to worry about. This is just an experience. And I would suggest that if anybody is struggling with that, use that as a mantra that you say to yourself every day, 3 times a day. Say it, do the 3-6-9. Say it 3 times in your grand rising. Then in the afternoon, say it 6 times. And in the evening, before you go to bed or sometime in the evening, say it 9 times. Hey, peace, love, and light to Natural Mystic Gems. I see you, Dash. Thanks for coming through. I started on time today. I started at 7. I'm only going to be on, by the way, for 3 hours. Right before 10, I'm going to drop off, all right? Just to let everybody know that's going to be sticking around. So we're talking people that just came into the live. We're doing a Starseed Awakening series. We're talking about the light is not something we create. It is something we allow to shine through us. And a lot of times we come to this awareness when we're in a deep state of meditation, because it's in the quiet moments when the world is completely still, our hearts have a chance to breathe, and we come to the realization of something that is truly profound. And we realize that we are that which is and always will be. We are eternal. The body is just an experience, and it's all temporary. But what truly embodies the body, what goes inside the vessel, is forever. And this realization is not born out of some intellectual debate. It's not born out of even philosophy. It's there. It's in the depth of our being. And a lot of times, our higher self whispers that truth to us in the spaces between our thoughts. And it's very gentle. But when we come to that awareness and we have that understanding that the light that we often seek is the light that we embody, it's not something we create. It's something we allow to shine through us. And by the way, if anybody wants to come up on the panel and join this Pursuit of Knowledge Meeting Authentic Conversation and this Unity Consciousness collaboration, you're more than welcome to do so. And what time is it right now? Okay, we're making good timing, people. It's a little past 8 a.m. So I want to talk about within this for this next hour. Let's talk about a couple of things. Let's talk about the illusion of creation. The illusion of creation, because I'm telling you, I felt if put a 100, if you ever broken some cognitive dissonance, like beliefs that you've held on to, only to find out that's not what it is, and you had to let go of that, knowing that wasn't true. For me, it was letting go of this idea, really, but I thought it was annoying. I thought it was truth. And the truth that I thought that I was experiencing for many years is that I create something out of nothing, only to realize that I'm not creating anything at all. I'm just allowing creation to come into fruition and co-creating with it to bring it to fruition, bring it to awareness, my awareness to my existence and to others. But it's already there. See, a lot of this is because we're conditioned to believe these things, right? In this manipulated matrix, because from the moment we're born, we are taught that creation is the ultimate power. And we're told that to create is to bring something new into existence. And to mold it, to shape it. And even though we shape our reality with our thoughts, we're just co-creating with something that's already there. And we're just coming to the awareness of it. We are taught that light, love, and goodness are things we must actively create within ourselves and the world. But that is the illusion. Shout outs to Angie. Illusions. But that's the illusion. We taught that we are these things, that not that we are these things. We taught that we have to create these things, that we have to actively seek these things. That's why we're constantly taught, look for the light at the end of the tunnel. Look for the light at the end of the tunnel. It's now, man, the light is in you. Always has been, always will be. People, let's keep tapping the screen. Let's get to 10K. I'm going to call this Finger Lazy Mondays now. Finger Lazy Monday. Appreciate it. All right. I don't want to get like those people that be like, I'm not going to say nothing until we get to 5,000 likes. I don't want to become that person, people. Don't make me become that. I refuse to be that person. Let's just tap the screen. So, we don't create light. We don't manufacture it. We don't even design it. We don't construct it. Light is not intellect. Light is not intelligence. Light is not some reward for something we do good. Light is not a spiritual achievement. Light is far more fundamental than that. It's far more simple. Light is the essence of who and what you are. It's the very fabric of your being. It's always there. It's always shining. It's always present. But it's up to you to allow it to flow through you, to become in awareness that you are the conduit for its grace, and to be open and opening yourself to its presence, not getting in its way. And even the nature of light itself, light is pure. It's unblemished. It's untainted. It's unwavering. Light doesn't diminish over time. Only your perception diminishes of the light that's within you if you're not aware, if you're living in fear, if you're living in despair. Light shines within each of us, people. Light is the fabric of everything that is and ever will be. It is the universe of universes. It's the multiverse. It's the everything and all. It is existence that comes from the source that allows it to exist. The light is not something we possess or control. It's not ours to give to anybody, and it's not ours to take away from anybody. You can't take away or control something that simply exists beyond comprehension, beyond our ability to manipulate it, because it can't. It just is. So either you flow with it or you don't. Matter of fact, I'm going to play one of my favorite quotes from the brother. Let's see. Let's pull it up here. This is about staying in environments, but I correlate this to not letting the light block you. This is where you can embrace, when I hear this, is embracing your self-worth and not having any expectations or looking for validation, knowing who and what you are, and being in environments that cultivate that light. Let's hear it real quick. This is like the slogan for those of you that are new here.
In environments where people don't know the true value of you. If you stay in environments where people don't recognize the value of you, you will shrink your gift to the size of what they can stand. And that's what causes anxiety and depression and stress, because you have had to shrink into a form where people can tolerate you. I refuse to be small because you think small. I'm not shrinking my vision because you can't catch up. You either better roll with me or you gonna get rolled over.
Danny, are you serious right now, or have you not been listening? Oh, not Danny. I'm sorry. Yeah, Danny Flo. Danny says, how does one not get in the way of the light so it shines through? I thought that's exactly what we've been talking about this whole entire time. Anyway. My apologies if you just came into the chat. Let's talk about that, because he's saying, how do we, the problem with that is that even asking the question, it's like we get in the way of our light all the time, because a lot of us feel disconnected. We feel separate from it. We feel isolated. We feel cut off from its warmth, from its radiance, from its grace. We feel as though the light is something distant. A lot of us think that the light is at the end of the tunnel and we got to work our way and get there. And it's far away for a lot of us from our perception. Some of us think that it's something that we have to strive to attain. A lot of us think that we have to strive to attain enlightenment. When we are enlightenment, we just have to become the awareness of it. We have to be it. We have to recognize it for what it is and surrender to it. See, a lot of this sense of separation to light is the source of much of our suffering collectively around the world. Because many of our brothers and sisters from the same creation are searching for the light in the external world. They're seeking it in material possessions. They're seeking it in their relationships. They're seeking it in achievements, in success. Ultimately, they're trying to achieve it in recognition. A lot of us think that we believe that if we can just find the right thing or the right person or the right experience, that we're finally going to have that light that we so desperately crave. There is no destination, and there never will be. How can there be a destination to infinite possibilities? And how can there ever be a destination in something that always is and will be and will continue to be all the time? The light is never going to be something that you're going to find outside of yourself. It's something that must be realized within. The light is already within you, And it's not something that you need to create. It's something that you need to remember. This is why it's so important to remember that you are divinity. When you remember your divinity, there's nothing to fear. Matter of fact, there's a lot of people that I've met and people I've seen, especially on YouTube, these people that give their NDE stories and people that I've met. And whether it's something extreme or whether it's from a car accident or from being a gangster or whatever it is, these people that are not afraid of so-called death, they're not afraid of death because they know that death is an illusion. They know that once they leave their bodies, it's not over. And when you have that knowing, there ain't nothing to fear. So even if you're put in a situation that seems to be fearful because death might be imminent or presenting itself as a possibility, there's nothing to be afraid of. And that allows you, most of the time, especially for people that are in fields of industries where they're put into hazardous situations, life-threatening situations, right? They deal with those situations a lot better because they're not in a state of fear. No different from a cop or a soldier or whatever. It's very empowering when you know that you are the light and it's not something you got to find. So let's talk about that real quick because that's something I want to talk about. And maybe this will answer the brother's question too. How do we allow the light to shine through us? How do we become the conduits for its grace? So let's think about it from this perspective. The first step is let go of the need to create. And this is what helped me. This was very transformative in breaking the cognitive dissonance of the belief system that I held for so many years about I'm creating something out of nothing. Once I let go of this, okay, I just had to I had to do that verified thing that they make you do. But how do we allow this light to shine through us? The first step is letting go of the need to create, because when I realized I wasn't creating something out of nothing and I released that cognitive dissonance, I broke it, it shattered it, it transformed me in ways that are ineffable. I don't have no words to explain it. It just did. So the first step is releasing the belief that we are responsible for generating light, for bringing it into existence. When we come to the awareness that light is already here, already shining, already present within us, all around us, you just got to be that. And when you shift your perspective, instead of seeing yourself as a creator of light, you start to see yourself as a vessel, as a channel through which that light can flow through. And you open yourself up to that light, allowing it to move through you, fill you, and radiate to the rest of the world. You are the light that becomes the beacon of light for somebody else to experience, for some other entity to experience. And the more your light shines brighter, that's when you become more welcoming, not just to people, but even to the animals. That's when the babies see you and they start looking at you with their mouth all dropped to the floor like in awe, because they see that light in you. And they're like, oh, you shining. They see your true colors shining through. Like that song, I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show. What's the other song I'm thinking about? This Little Light of Mine. I don't like to think of it as a little light, but in actuality, when it comes to the multiverse and existence, we are little lights. But we got to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah. When you shift your perspective to letting your light shine and flow and radiate like it should, and this leads for a better experience. There's no effort. It's more of a surrender. It's not about doing, it's about being. See, we get taught you got to be a doer. Yeah, there's things we got to do, obviously. Thank you, Captain Obvious. But more importantly, you got to be all that you are, because most of us are trying to become something instead of being what we already are. That's the big illusion. That's the big deception, is that we get taught, we get born into a planet that since you're a little kid or little child, is teaching you to become something instead of teaching you to become to realize what you already are, showing you what you are already, helping you to come to that realization. That's how the education should be for us from the moment we come out the womb. We should be taught to embrace what we already are and learn how to do that each and every day, so that once we learn it and it becomes ingrained, that's what we are, nothing else. We're surrendering to the divine instead of trying to work against it to become something else separate from that light, from that awareness. It's about letting go of the ego and of the desire and of the fears and of the doubts, and allowing the light to shine through you without no worry, without no doubt, without even having to contemplate it, knowing that it's right. I like to call it taking a leap of faith on yourself. And you see, a lot of times, if y'all have noticed, and I'm going to tell you a little something, like a lot of y'all that follow me, you notice I haven't been going deep into Syrians, Palladians, Lyrans, Andromedans lately, even when I do these Starseed Awakening series. I'm going to tell y'all why. I'm going to, again, and we're going to talk a lot about it, but I really want to set a foundation to help people understand how our very fellow brothers and sisters throughout the cosmos need us to really become this. Because when you start becoming the light and you surrender to it and you let that flow, then you can start, a lot of this other starseed information can start making more sense. And you can start tuning in more to this thing called existence and everything that it is possible within it. It's more important to understand that. Because once we get more in tune with this, digging into the information about our starseed history and our fellow starseed brothers that some have classified as alien, we get a better awareness to what this all really means. And also becoming more in tune with ourselves will help us to have a higher sense of awareness to the reality that we're experiencing. We'll be able to see more visually. We'll be able to feel more intuitively. We'll even be able to hear more. Let's talk about the role of grace when it comes to the light. Grace is something that just is. It's not something that you earn. It's not something you achieve. It's not a reward. Grace is a gift. It's freely given. It doesn't have any conditions to it. It doesn't have any requirement to it. And a lot of times when we allow ourselves to be the vessel for light, we allow ourselves to be open to receiving that grace. We become instruments of the divine and a channel for that unconditional love and peace and joy to flow through us gracefully. We become a reflection of light, and we allow it to shine through us with purity and clarity. A lot of my light shines very brightly when I fast. And I remember when I fasted for 10 days, I felt, and I literally felt my body completely. I'm talking about from the last top of my hair all the way down to my toes, to the end of the nail. I felt it all becoming lighter. I felt myself becoming less dense by day number 7 of my fast. I'm talking about no water and no food. Dry. I felt it. I was like, whoo. It's a wonderful experience when you can realize that's what you truly are. This density of physicality is something that is being experienced. It is a vibrational frequency that it's held temporarily, that the light is infusing itself with, so to speak. But when we become that, grace, when we allow grace to flow through us, or for the light to flow through us, so we can feel that grace, that's when we are truly in tune with that light. It becomes the bridge for our human experience and our divine nature is the grace. The grace is the force that lifts us out of our ego and connects us to the infinite. And when we allow the light to shine through us, it's not a one-time thing. It's always there. But the awareness of it is a practice. It's a way of being. It's a way of living. Many of us are starting to do that, right? We're starting to become more patient, more kind, more compassionate. We got higher sense of discernment. We're not judging, we're discerning. We're figuring out what environments work best for us, right? That's why the brother earlier said you can't not stay in environments that don't recognize the true value of you. We can't be in environments where people they can't see the true light in us. And many of us are in environments like that. I know I am with certain family. I know when I'm around certain family members, they're not seeing my true light. I got family members that are still looking at me like I'm 18, 19 years old, hustling and stuff like that. That's how they still see me 20, 25, 30 years later. And I have the opportunity that I don't have to accept that as my reality. I don't have to be around that. I'm going to be around entities and human beings that can embrace my light. They can see value in it, that can respect it, that are respecting, I shouldn't say can, are respecting it, embrace it with that grace. In our everyday lives, we always have infinite opportunities to allow the light to shine through us. It happens when we offer a kind word to a stranger. Just doing that. Or when we listen with compassion to someone in need. When we give a shoulder to cry. When we forgive somebody. When we choose to love over fear. When we choose the truth over the lie or over the deception. Or when we choose peace over conflict. And I could tell you here on TikTok, I choose peace over conflict every time I'm on TikTok. That's why I feel very grateful that I have a channel where a lot of people come here and it's nothing but peaceful and harmonious. And it's starting to become the norm. And it has been now for the past 2 months? For the past 2 months, peace and harmony is the norm over here. It's very rare that we get any hostility. We get the dumb ones a little bit sometimes coming in, making stupid comments. Or sometimes we'll get the Christians that want to demonize and tell us that we're going to hell. But besides that, it's very peaceful and harmonious. Hold on a second. Let me see something here. Hey, what's up, Hippie42? I'm just looking at the comments here. I want to make sure that we're not having one of these moments right now. All right. I love being in peace. And some of y'all that have been following me for quite some time, I did a show on this when I first started out doing these lives. And it said, peace is like oxygen for me. If I'm not getting it, if I don't have it, I'm suffocating. That's why I choose peace over conflict. Conflict conflicts with consciousness. But when we allow the light to shine, and when it flows through us with grace, it illuminates the world around us. That's why many of you, wherever you go, sometimes put a 100 in the chat if you've experienced this, but because you're allowing and you surrender that light to shine through you with grace, you go to certain places that are very dark. You go to certain environments that are dark, but you bring light to it, and it changes the frequency of the environment. Put a 100 if that's what you do and have done in the past, where you've gone certain places and you brought nothing but light there. It was negative. There was conflict. There was hostility, but you came through. And it changed the vibration and the frequency of the energy that was resonating there because it was dark. And then your light cleansed the darkness, sanctified the darkness, the negativity. Somebody put 1,000. Oh, no, that's a 100. My bad. Yes, I know y'all do. This information wouldn't resonate you if you didn't. You would have a different color of consciousness if that wasn't happening for you. But we get countless opportunities to do this. We have countless moments in our day where we can be a vessel of light if we open ourselves and surrender to that light. And that's when you allow yourself to be a conduit for the infinite unconditional love, for the infinite wisdom. When it comes to the collective light, meaning the collective consciousness of light that we are, as individuals, we each have the capacity to allow light to shine through us. But when we come together as a collective, our light becomes even more powerful. When we join together in love, in unity, in service to one another for the greater good, our collective light illuminates in the world in ways that are beyond our imagination. The collective light is not the sum of our individual lights. It's something greater. It's something else. It's something more profound because it's the light of unity, of oneness, of the divine presence that flows through all of us. And when we bring it together, it becomes superpower. Super powerful. It's coming together like Voltron. When the robots would come together and form like Voltron, that's what we do. We form a Voltronic light. Speaking of that, matter of fact, I'm going to pull up Beyond Imagination real quick, because Beyond Imagination is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. I actually wrote this in the early 2000s, I think I wrote this in 2006. I need to start dating stuff. But yeah, I think I wrote this in 2006, and it's called Beyond Imagination. Let me see if I could play something for it. Matter of fact, I think I have something for this. When the light has faded and darkness is abroad, the light is only dim because the darkness teaches us lessons that need to be learned in order for one to move forward. Embrace the darkness, for the darkness is a friend. You should not fear, so there is no end. It's only an illusion to what has been. So follow and allow the light, and let the spirit embark on a flight to a destination unknown, but to a place where unconditional love is the building blocks that call this place home. We are always accompanied on this journey, but still feel alone. It is never the same journey or experience that is ever shown. It is your imagination that awakens the passion that will weather the storm, because it is the pure compassion in the soul that is vigorous and strong. We're one with eternity, so let's be connected to the positive stream that allows us to fulfill our infinite destiny most definitely. Let's strive to be the best people we can be with a power that is humanly new to see. And even though mistaken dismay can lead us astray, let us stay, for it is our free will that allows us to make a choice. So let's choose unconditional love with no delay. Our compelling determination and free will drive us to create permanent sensations. It is the very reason why I will always love life beyond imagination. All right, let's play a quick song, take a quick intermission. All right, people, I'll be right back. I got to drink some more alkaline over here. Let's play Higher Learning, one of my favorite songs.
Trapped in a world, yeah, they don't want higher learning. They want everybody to see, yeah. They don't want to see that proper growth and development. Expanding my brain so I can learn what I can. All because of higher learning knowledge that I never thought I would. You can be, yeah, because of higher learning. They don't want nobody having that knowledge. Waking up in a different light, got my mind right. It took me time and time to put it together. You know you not learning nothing when you second guessing, because it all lies. They put us in school for 12 years plus. The nerve to give us a paper certificate. I've been watching quite some time. Finally, that I see what's going on. Every time that I lay down, yeah, I feel, yes.
I start out my morning round about 6 o'clock. Feel like I got a choice. Since it's rough.
Trapped in a world, yeah, they don't want higher learning. They want everybody to see, yeah. They don't want to see that proper growth and development. Expanding my brain so I can learn what I can. All because of higher learning knowledge that I never thought I would. You can be, yeah, because of higher Remember 6 a.m. waking up to get to class. Now it be 5 a.m. I'm rising up to hit them laps. School never taught me to be this disciplined with myself. All praise to Yahweh, been Yahweh helping me with my health. The spirit keeps me up even though we all packed in the jungle. Police be lying, they want you mentally trapped in a bubble. You see them smile on TV, always acting like they love you. Don't wanna see you rise up, they wanna see you ash your brother. I keep my acts in humbleness in hopes that the Lord will favor me even more, cause he's the one that has my number. He's been my God, he's made me wise. He's all I know until the end, I'm gonna grind. Looking up to the sky, trying to stay righteous with the storm on my side. The crown of life is my why. I'm asking Father, please help guide me to the light. Trapped in a world, yeah, they don't know how you learn. They want everybody to see it. They don't want to see that proper growth in development. It's spamming my brain so I can learn what I can learn. What I can know is how you learn. Learning knowledge that I never thought I would. Look at me, yeah, cause of how you learning.
You are now tuned in to the network of awareness. To the network of awareness.
All right, we're back. For those of you that just came into the live, welcome to the Network of Awareness podcast radio show. And we're talking about the light is not something we create. It's something we allow to shine through us on this Starseed Awakening series. I'm going to give people an opportunity. If you want to come up, you're more than welcome to do so. All right. And if somebody got something to share, feel free to come on up. If nobody's coming up, and I'm going to wrap it up. I know I said I was going to go to 10, but I'm just going to wrap it up a little earlier, wrap it up before 9. I pretty much said everything I wanted to say about this today. And if nobody wants to come up, that's perfectly fine. So let me say this, people. Let me wrap it up with this and leave this for food for thought for the rest of the day for y'all that are just waking up or starting out your day today on this Most High Monday. But all I want to say is that as far as what I talked about is that, let me see how I can end this real quick. Don't forget that you are everything that is and ever will be. Don't worry about nothing. There's nothing to worry about. Not one thing. I want to leave you with this final thought, is that the light is always there. It's always shining. It's always present. Be it. Allow it to be. Allow it to guide. It's not something we create. It's something we allow. And when we allow it to shine through us, we're not only illuminate our own lives, but we bring light to the world around us. We bring light to other people's lives. We become the example. It's the true essence of our being. It's the true purpose of our existence. And to be a vessel for light means that we let it shine through us and we share it with all we encounter, with everyone we encounter. So, as you go about your life in the days and weeks to come, remember this: you are the source of light, but you are not the source of light, but you are rather the vessel for that light to shine. Allow it to shine through you with grace and watch as it transforms your life and the lives of those around you. So, as always, people, I just want to say this before I go, is when you live in the present, there's always an opportunity for a new beginning. And don't look for the light at the end of the tunnel, because the light is and always will be within you. So light up the tunnel and find your way through the darkness. Honor your humanity, and remember your divinity. Don't you forget it, because there ain't a damn thing to worry about. That's my message for today here on the Network of Awareness podcast radio show. And I'm going to play one more song that I did a couple of years ago with the brother Take One. It's called Can't Stop Now. And I want to thank everybody who participated. I did a shorter live. Now, I am going to come back on at 7 in the morning tomorrow as well, right? So if y'all want to check me out when I first start, I'm going to be on at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'll go to 10. I'll try to go to 10 because I got a new schedule after 10 now. So peace, love, and light, everybody. And let's hear some of this music real quick. And I'm going to play a quick commercial for the podcast. If you don't know, download my podcast. You can download Network of Awareness wherever podcasts are played. All right. And I got a lot of great shows, not only from the past. We're up to season 7. And season 7 is just going to be a lot of the shows that I've done in the past on TikTok. So many of you that like these shows on TikTok, I'm editing the shows and bringing them to the podcast. So just type in Network of Awareness wherever podcasts are played and start downloading the shows. But if you want to listen to the past shows from TikTok, they're all listed on season 7. And I'm going to keep adding them on because I got about 30, a little over 30 of them that I haven't even posted. So that's what you're going to be seeing throughout the whole entire season 7. And then, of course, the subscription is going to be my in-depth interviews with people around the world and some other information that I provide that is exclusive to subscribers. All right. With that being said, let's play this quick commercial, and then I'm going to play this song called Can't Stop Now, right? And then we're out of here.
Peace, brother. I don't have a lot of time, Take. They got the dogs on me. They really trying to get me to take this science appliance, brother. And you know I'm not doing that, man.
Oh, where you at?
Not doing it. I'm in an undisclosed location right now, up in the nature spot near that cabin I used to go to. But they got the dogs tracking me. They got the satellites. They eventually gonna get here. I got it barricaded, you know what I'm saying? Because the only way I'm taking that jab is if I'm in a bag, brother.
You
So
are now
Take, I
tuned
just
in
want to
to
tell
the
you this
Network of Awareness.
before anything else happens. And I want to get this out to you and let you know. All right, brother, Take, you're at the door. I gotta tell you, just listen, brother, just listen.
Now it's time to get out your own way. Allow Yahweh, today is your day to amaze in many ways. Cause it's just another phase in this infinite space where y'all be giving this grace. I'm working the race with diligent praise, unwavering faith. I'll be damned if I stray from God's will and embrace. Man sealed his fate with his ignorant ways. The world is disgraced, vibration that's raised at a very fast pace. I'm present today in high frequency waves. No more being enslaved, more praise to Yahweh. A Hebrew warrior from the land of the brave. From the cradle to the grave to my very last day. Send a serpent to his cave, God favored my way. Never fearful or timid, it was written and given. No religion, division can stop a messenger that's fulfilling his mission.
Before they get worse, before they get better, but the story meant to last forever. Even when the light is dim, the sun finds a way to shine again. Things are getting ugly, things are getting cold, but I know it's best to stay in my soul. And I can't stop now, I can't stop now.
Can't stop and won't stop, I gotta keep propelling. Final destination is a room in the heavens. Diligence and militance, his will is my medicine. I can live without a hat, but his love is my everything. COVID is on the road, got the world on its toes. So many sheep with their eyes closed. Hey sir, would you like to take a jab? Man, kiss my ass, stop living by what the news told you. You got injustice, brutality saturating the streets. Blood spilling for no reason, thanks to the police. Meanwhile, syringes are being taken with speed. Can't do it, you ain't sticking no vaccination to me. Despite all the chaos, I still manage to stay on the right path. Gotta keep my focus and my faith strong. Let's hear what your music play on. All the honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh.
It's gonna get worse before they get better, but the story meant to last forever. Even when the light is dim, the sun finds a way to shine again. Things are getting ugly, things are getting cold, but I know it's best to stay in my soul. And I can't stop now, I can't stop
Can't stop, I won't stop. 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 Can't stop, I won't stop.
A new age has begun. An age of freedom. And oh no, that we have lost breath to defend.
I'm breaking through. Breaking through, I'm breaking through, breaking through. I'm breaking through, I'm breaking through, I'm breaking through. I've been awoken, I've been chosen, now I'm walking in motion. We gotta get it to the finish line, we gotta stay open. It's the journey that we taking and we gotta take over. Talking through my thoughts, yeah, I gotta stay focused. Asking all the right questions and my spirit awoken. Thoughts coming in so fast, I meditate to refocus. It slows me down, it calms me down when the thoughts come attacking. It helps me with my reaction, that is something I'm practicing. Breaking through, yeah, I'm breaking through, breaking through. I'm breaking through, I'm breaking through, breaking through. I'm breaking through, breaking through. Who is you to be telling how I'm supposed to be walking? When it's God who I'm talking to, in the spirit I'm talking to, notifying me physically to connect with you spiritually. In the spirit I float away in my spaceship, I feel safe. I know I'm on a different plane as my higher vibrations elevate to a place where I can escape. Get away from the lies, finding answers as I travel through my mind, getting answers in time, loving myself while I wait. God is in me, this ain't no debate. Ain't no debate. This ain't no debate. Hey, take your spirit.
You are now tuned in to the network of awareness.
I'm gonna murder this beat.
ORRA is a network full of awareness and gifts like ORRA, the informational list.
You are now tuned in to the network of awareness. You are now tuned in to the conscious hour.
what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. Be 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 a nightmare for people like you.
Life is an unpredictable and amazing journey. Our ever-changing conditions within today's society and the constant new trends influencing cultures can become overwhelming, to say the least. But no worries. The Network of Awareness podcast radio show brings peace of mind in these challenging times. Follow us on your favorite podcast listening app and join our community of Network of Awareness at networkofawareness.com.